Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this week's weekly Wednesday presentation from the Rehabilitation Support Services, also known as RSS. This presentation is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Otsego County Office for the Aging Facebook page and to our county website. I ask that everyone except the presenter and myself keep your videos turned off and that you remain muted unless you have a question. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as we move through this presentation. You can also use the chat feature if you prefer, and I will ask those questions for you. For those who are new to weekly Wednesday presentations, we host presentations every Wednesday using the same link at 11 a.m. Topics are on various community-based organizations and topics relevant to long-term services and supports. This was established in October of 2020 as a way to continue education on services and supports amid a global pandemic. For those who do not know me, my name is Alicia Chase. I'm Otsego County's long-term care coordinator. My role here at Office for the Aging is to supervise the New York Connects program, which provides information and assistance on all long-term services and supports available in our county. Although my office is under Office for the Aging, we are unique in that we are able to help anyone of any age who is looking for help navigating the complicated long-term care systems. We can assist those who just want information and assistance, who need referrals to other community-based organizations such as the Department of Social Services, mental health, community-based organizations such as the Catskill Center for Independence, Family Resource Network, or RSS. And we can help other people who need assistance with applications, who need help seeking information on admission to an adult home or nursing home placement, just to name a few. If you're unsure if New York Connects can help you or your loved one, please do not hesitate to reach out. We also have a New York Connects partner, Vince Baker, with the Independent Living Center in Oneonta. Those wishing to reach out to me can do so by calling Office for the Aging at 607-547-4232. At this time, I'm going to turn the program over to Laura Lee with RSS for today's presentation.
Hi, everyone. I am from RSS. I've been working with RSS for probably close to 20 years now. RSS itself covers 13 different counties in New York State, and Otsego County's been with them since the 1980s. We have services here in Oneonta, which is the residential. We have vocational. We have care coordination, and we also have a social and wellness support club here. When Bassett closed down, look at that, you get to help for me. When Bassett closed down and reduced their beds, they decided, the affected counties, which is Delaware, Schoharie, Otsego, and Shenango County, decided to create several outstanding support programs. One everybody knows is MCAT with the Neighborhood Center, and the other two RSS took on. The one that, well, I'm actually in charge of both of them now. One is an Eyes On program where we get the chance to go inside a home and do an assessment of needs. This one's called In-Home Stabilization. This is the one that I started with. It ended up being dumped on me that I ended up with Flex Fund, and I'll talk about them later on. Everybody goes into crisis at some point in time in their life. What could be a crisis for one person today, somebody else might look at it and think it's nothing more than a speed bump or not even worth thinking about. And crises change with our personal experience, age, our supports, whether or not we've had enough sleep. If you've got a deadline coming up, things become a lot more crisis oriented than if you've just finished a big project. So something at 20 means something totally different at 40. So we're looking at all different ages. I work with adults, anybody over 18. They just have to have symptomology of a mental illness. I don't need to have a diagnosis for it. I just have to have, they're having symptoms of this for my program to work in here. I don't take insurance, so you don't have to have any kind of insurance to come into my program. I work with people. It's supposed to be 3 to 5 days. I won't let somebody drop through the cracks though. If we're working on something and I can't get something else for them set up, then I try to stay with them until we have at least some solution to their problem. I've got a lot of different contacts out there. It's taken me a long time to get contacts built, but now I'm pretty good at being able to refer out and contact people and say, listen, this is my problem. You have any suggestions? Can you take over this? The same thing goes the other direction. I get a lot of phone calls that say, listen, I've got this client and these are some of the issues that we're dealing with. Is there anything that you can help with? So we work back and forth. I'm generally a referral source, but I do work back and forth with the contacts and the other agencies in the area. Out of the in-home stabilization, we actually opened up a new program once we hit the COVID that's called wellness checks. This isn't just for 2 to 3 days. If you need it more than that, that's possible. I work Fridays and Saturdays with that one. I can either do physical, go into the home to sit down and talk with them, or we can do just a phone call to check to make sure that they're doing okay. This is because a lot of the agencies are closed later in the day on Fridays, and on Saturdays, very often not there at all. So we open this up. I'm going to send all the referrals over to Alicia once we're done with this so that she can pass them on if she gets asked for any of them. The other one that I take care of is called flex funding. This was also put out of the 4 counties. So this comes through the 4 counties, and the SPOA coordinators for the 4 counties are actually my voting committee. I'm just the paper pusher. So if you do get involved in it, I can answer any questions that you want, and I can do whatever we can to try to get it through, but I'm not the one that makes the decisions. It's up to $1,000 you can get in an annual period, but that's annual according to the person that applies for it. So if they apply for it April 1st, that $1,000 is up to March 31st of the following year. So if they use it all up at the beginning, they can't come back to me until the next year. The object behind this is to prevent hospitalizations and to keep people from being homeless. Again, they have to be 18 years or older. These have to have a medical or a mental illness diagnosis to get it, though, which means that they have to be in some kind of treatment. Treatment can be that they're working with the care coordinator or they're working with somebody like Alicia, just as long as there's somebody else working with them, and the application has to come through an agency. There's not much more that if I've got questions that would probably help, but that's pretty much the 3 programs that I run right now. And if you need to get in touch with me or you've got any questions about anything, you can always call me. My number is 607-434-8692.
All right, if anybody has any questions, sorry, I had to make sure I wasn't muted. If anybody has any questions, you can type them into the chat, or you can unmute yourself at this time and go ahead and ask questions. The flex funding is $1,000 annually. What can it be spent on, or what is it usually spent on?
We can go over just about anything. We've done first month security. We've paid for some assistance as far as housing. They needed to have something fixed in their house to make it safe for them to live in. We've gotten equipment for them to help make their mental illness easier to manage. We've bought phones for people. We've helped them buy the time for phones. Everything is available out there. You just have to present it in such a way that the committee is going to say, yeah, that's going to help with their mental illness and make it easier for them. We've bought clothes for people to go out and get a job. So we're open to anything. If you've got any questions, don't be afraid to call and talk to me. If that doesn't solve it, maybe I'll have a different option for you.
Does anybody else, oh, here's one question. What kind of work do you do with people with in-home stabilization program? You mentioned assessments, but what comes after?
We go in and do an assessment, and most people that I found that I'm working with are actually looking for somebody. They're feeling overwhelmed about something, and they're actually looking for somebody to actively listen to them and give them options. So what I do is I go in, we do the assessment, and from the assessment, then we start putting together a plan of how they can work through whatever it is that they're going through. So when I go in and I talk to them, we decide what resources are out there that might be able to help them. I give them contact information if I can. If I don't have the information there, then I'll make phone calls for them. But I hope, and it doesn't always work out that way, but I hope that they're going to be active enough, proactive enough to be able to help with their program, with their problem. And we're going to work through that. Like I said, it's supposed to be only 2 to 3 days, but I find it much better if I just keep it open-ended until we get a solution to their problem.
Great questions. Does anybody else have any questions? You can see on the screen here, RSS has a website. It's rehab.org. Okay, another question. Some referrals may be for mental health counseling, public assistance, housing programs. Is this correct?
It can. I've worked with people to go up to DSS to help get their applications filled out, because some people don't have the capability of filling that paperwork out, or they get so overwhelmed with it, they get frustrated. Mental health, we can attempt to try to get them in to see somebody, whether it be the mental health clinic itself or if there's somebody else that they wanted to work with. Like I said, I'm a hand holder. I'll help them get through what I can get them through. And if I can't get them through, it's longer term than that, then we'll hand them off to somebody else that could possibly work with them longer. Did that answer the question?
I think so. Any other questions? No other questions in the chat. All right,
Well,
I've put Laura's phone number and the website for RSS in the chat box. If there's no other questions, then that completes it for today. Remember, this video will be up on our county website some point after the 1st of July. And I will talk to everyone soon. Thanks, Laura.
thank you for coming by too. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.